first for the wonderful performance. Thank you. Okay. So, for anyone who cares to join, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to do the roll call first.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, is everybody here?
We're just
Ryan and Cathy.
just Ryan and Cathy who are ready to be sworn in. So yeah.
Okay. I'm going to read the board norms. Okay. Board norms. Debate, commentary, and discussion are healthy and open. Listening and speaking are equally important, and both should be done with respect and consideration. Focus is on students in our schools, not politics. Assume best intention in all discussions. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of an addendum to the consent agenda, Personnel Memorandum 675.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Motion carries. We have the motion to accept, that's the next one.
Yep.
We're going to accept, I need a motion to accept the mayor's recommendations to appoint Cathy Solsaa and Ryan Carney
So moved.
Second.
to the Board of School Commissioners with terms ending on March 2027.
Missed you, Karen. Did you? We
Keep things
seriously
moving
there.
there.
Very good. First and second?
So good.
So yep.
First.
Yeah,
I
okay.
first.
It's Karen, then whoever else.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'd like to welcome to the table Mayor Donahue to administer the oaths and the code of ethics too.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that unanimous vote. Great members, you gotta, Karen, like you said, you do it fast before they change their mind.
That's right.
And if I could, Madam Chair, if I could just take a liberty to mention Rutland City Alderman Peter Franzoni's in the front row here. He has replaced me as the Board of Aldermen's representative to the school board.
Wonderful.
So thank you, Peter, for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks. All the good news back to the main Board of Aldermen. Yeah, thank you. All right, so without further ado, if you don't mind raising your right hand and repeat after me, and you'll say Cathy. I.
Aye. Cathy Solsaa.
Thank you very much. Do solemnly swear. That I will faithfully execute the office of
That I will faithfully execute the office of
Rutland City School Commissioner
Rutland City School Commissioner
to the best of my judgment and abilities,
to the best of my judgment and abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
And that's it. Congratulations. Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back. You have your way?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ryan and Cathy can take their spots. It's up to you there. Okay. Why are you so far away from me?
You're back to full strength.
That's right, thank you.
Thank you. Don't touch her. It's hard.
I'll shake your hand.
Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda with the addendum personnel memorandum 675?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there any public input?
There was nobody signed up.
Okay,
We're good.
so all set there. And we're on to student representative reports.
I'll start. At RIS, we've had an exciting and successful stretch of learning and enrichment across our school community. Our music and our school's celebrations showcased the incredible talents of our students through wonderful concerts that brought families together and highlighted the importance of music education. Our fourth graders enjoyed a field trip to a local sugaring house where they experienced Vermont's rich traditions and deepened their understanding of local agriculture. This has been a busy month of testing. We encouraged hard work, growth, and perseverance on the assessments by providing effort tickets throughout the weeks. Students' names went into a drawing, and they were called down to the office to obtain a small prize each day of testing. Additionally, we wrapped up another successful season with the Vermont Adaptive Ski Program, providing students with the unique outdoor learning opportunities and unforgettable experiences. Finally, a sincere thank you to the Rotary Club for their generous donation of dictionaries to our students. Your continued support helps foster a love of learning and literacy in our school. Be sure to check out the most recent PEG TV episodes of The Learning Lounge. We hosted Stafford Technical Center and the Soup Bowl for Hunger event. March was a vibrant and engaging month across the Northeast community as well. Students enjoyed a school-wide trip to the Paramount Theater to see the Magic School Bus musical, bringing science and storytelling to life. During Read Across America Week, classrooms celebrated with theme days, and our March Madness book bracket built excitement as students voted on their favorite reads each day of the month. We're also up to 13 minutes of school-wide sustained silent reading through our Drop Everything and Read literacy initiative. Our Glow Day brightened the late winter with a fun, sensory-filled experience, and our parent-teacher conferences provided valuable time to connect with families. We also shared FastBridge winter assessment updates to keep families informed of student progress. Our Math Family Engagement Night was a great success, offering interactive stations, games, and take-home books to support learning at home. In addition, our March Pause focus was safe, with students exploring ways to stay safe in different settings. A highlight was Mrs. Manfredi's kindergarten class performing a choreographed dance to demonstrate safe choices. It was really cute. As we move into April, we're excited about the demolition of our old playground, making way for a new structure this spring. Our next community volunteer opportunity will be the playground installation on Friday, May 29th. More details and a sign-up will be shared in late April. And this past month has been filled with engaging learning experiences and strong family involvement across the Northwest. Our first and second grade students had the opportunity to travel to the Paramount Theater to experience live performances. Second grade students enjoyed a production of the Magic School Bus, while first grade students attended a performance of Pete the Cat. These enriching field trips provided students with meaningful exposure to the arts and were thoroughly enjoyed by all. We held our annual first grade music concert last week. It was a joy to see our students confidently singing and dancing in front of their families. We extended our sincere appreciation to Mrs. Cole for her dedication and hard work in preparing students for this event, as well as to our students for sharing their musical talents. Additionally, our family STEAM night was a tremendous success with an excellent turnout from students and their families. Families engaged in a variety of hands-on activities, including building with giant magnetiles, creating oobleck, and designing and launching straw rockets. We look forward to hosting this event again next year. Looking ahead, we are excited to partner with Heritage Family Credit Union to host a family math night this Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Families will have the opportunity to participate in engaging math games together, followed by pizza. We look forward to another strong turnout for this fun and educational evening.
From Stafford Technical Center, last week our students competed in the Vermont Skills USA competitions across the state. Stafford had 92 students compete in 34 competitive areas. We are thrilled to share that our students earned 19 gold, 17 silver, and 18 bronze medals. Students earning gold medals will now head to the national event in Atlanta, Georgia in June. Bianca McKean was able to join us for the awards banquet and be a part of the excitement this event brings to our school each year. It should also be noted that 3 Stafford students served as state officers this year. These students are Rihanna Freeman, president from Rutland High School, Aaron Chambers, vice president from Mill River, and Maisie Pavlakis, secretary from Poultney. Superintendent Reed will share details of RHS students' accomplishments in her report. On Thursday, April 16th, we will be holding our annual signing night for all incoming students for the 2026 to 2027 school year. We are excited to welcome these students and their families to an evening where they can commit to attending Stafford as part of their educational journey. Mrs. Connor and Miss Bosnich visit each program area to welcome the students. The evening begins in Natural Resources and Construction at 5 p.m. and wraps up in Digital Arts at 7:10 p.m. The energy and excitement of this evening is phenomenal, and we welcome any board members to attend part or all of this event. From Rutland Middle School, please join us tomorrow for our annual STEM fair at 1:45 p.m. Our 7th grade students will be presenting their projects to family and friends, and all are welcome. From the Rutland High School, it's been a busy month at RHS. We hosted multiple public events, including Rob Holla, who spoke this week during an all-school assembly about the dangers of vaping. We were also honored to host Senator Bernie Sanders and Olympic silver medalist Vermonter Ben Ogden. This was in addition to our financial reality fair, which local businesses spoke with students about factors that contribute to employability, career readiness. March was Music in Our Schools Month, which included the full slate of band, chorus, and orchestra students. In addition, Encore Theater performed All in Disguise, both at home as well as at the District Theater Festival. In addition, band students traveled to New York City to see Aladdin, while chorus students traveled to Boston to see The Outsiders. Finally, congratulations to our own Amelia Shelton, who was the rock climbing state champion and was also named by the Vermont State Athletic Directors Association as one of the 2 finalists, along with Thomas Cotter. I am pleased to report that Amelia has also been named our district winner, which means that she is now a national finalist.
Thank you. Oh, next we have the continuous improvement plan update.
Fine arts report.
Sorry.
No. Yeah. Fine arts report. Fine arts report, right?
Oh, mine's not.
I know.
Sorry.
From our notes. You're okay.
Fine arts report.
Fine arts report.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No.
We moved you up in case there were students, and that way the students didn't have to stay for the whole.
Sorry about that.
I do have to stay. Let's see if I remember. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening, and I'm ready for the slideshow. Oh. Okay, sorry. Perfect. Whoops. Okay. Okay, so the students are performed as you were coming in this evening. They call themselves the Breakfast Club, and they want to thank you for allowing them to show their talents. And unfortunately, I was going to have some theater students come this evening, but due to unforeseen circumstances, they were unable to make it this evening. They wanted to do a short little scene from The Wizard of Oz that they are performing in June, and had asked me if time allows that maybe you would let them come in May. So I'll leave that up to you, but they would like to come and talk about The Wizard of Oz in May if possible. So lots of things, as you've heard, through Fine Arts this year. These are what we offer for after-school programming at each of the schools. So quite a few offerings that we do at RIS, RMS, RHS. And here is how we break things down during the school day. Northeast, Northwest have art and music once a week. RIS once a week, but actually technically it's every 6 days, but close enough to once a week. And band, chorus, and orchestra is offered 4th through 6th grade. We offer instrumental lessons, and FAB, which is Fine Arts Block, which is when they have band, chorus, and orchestra, is offered twice a week. And students are able to be in 2 different groups that way. So if they choose to be in 2 different groups, they come to one on one day and one on the other. So the middle school has a unified arts rotation, which is 1 quarter, and all of 7th and 8th graders get that 1 quarter out of the year, and they rotate through these different offerings. Band, chorus, and orchestra is 5 days a week, again allowing students to perform in multiple groups, so they go 2 and 3, rotating, and with instrumental lessons. And then at the high school, they have 1 fine arts requirement credit required for graduation. They can choose that credit. Classes are offered that are half a credit each, and so they have to take 2, and it has to be from 2 of the 3 disciplines, visual or theater or music. And then also offered is music, chorus, or band, chorus, and orchestra, as well as honors groups within those. So you might have chamber singers, jazz band are considered the honors groups, advanced orchestra, and then these are some of our numbers for our visual arts classes. Just over the last several years, you can see that numbers are holding quite steady. And these are community engagement activities for the high school visual arts, things that they do throughout the year. As you heard earlier, Soup Bowls for Hunger just happened. That's always a big community event. Different things that happen, and I did add at the very bottom the fire safety poster contest, but that's the intermediate school.
I just want to tell you, the Soup Bowls for Hunger was fabulous. There were more people, I think, than last year, but the bowls and the volunteers and the student participation was outstanding. It really was
It's
something I
always
look forward
really
to
well
every
done.
year.
Yeah, I thank you. Yes, it's always very well done. These are some pictures from visual arts. You'll notice one of our own students here in that picture up there.
Both of them are up there.
Oh, that's right, both of them were up
We're
there.
both up there.
Community engagement for music, different parades, Memorial Day ceremonies at both the high school, middle school. The jazz band performs for a Brock luncheon. The community resource fair we perform entertainment for. 21 different concerts. Those are just concerts done throughout the year. Those do not include those extra concerts that are listed. So those are in addition to 21 performing opportunities throughout the year. So you can see lots of things there. These are some numbers for the past several years for band. The high school's numbers are on the left. The middle school's in the middle, and the intermediate school is on the right. Past 4 years for intermediate school, and a few more years for middle and high school. You'll notice that the number in red there for the middle school, that was COVID year. So that had a little bit of an impact. But we're coming back nice and strong there. These are some choir enrollment numbers. Again, same high school, middle school, intermediate school. And here's our orchestra enrollment. You'll notice one giant leap there at the intermediate school. That was when it was 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, and now we only have 4, 5, and 6. So that's the big drop off there. We're working really hard to get those numbers up at middle school and high school. And Here's some theater engagement, community engagement things that we do throughout the year. As was mentioned, the play that they just did a few weeks ago was really well done. It's a really good play. And I, again, want to put another shout out there. Please come see The Wizard of Oz. It's our first musical since before COVID. We're very excited about it. June 12th and 13th, it will be at the Intermediate School Auditorium. Kids are working really hard already on that. So we hope that it'll be good turnout for The Wizard of Oz.
Hopefully, my daughter's part of that.
Yes. So we're looking forward to that very much so.
And you said that was at the intermediate school?
It's at the Intermediate School Auditorium, yep.
Okay.
On June 12th and 13th.
Is the pit orchestra going to be at below again?
No, they don't allow us to do, they filled that over, so. No. And here are theater numbers. And I'll explain this a little bit. So stagecraft, the class stagecraft, you can see that the years 22, 23, 23, 24 going up. That is offered, I think it's 4 times a year. So that's why those numbers are that way. The same with Intro to Acting was offered multiple times during a year. Unified Theater, Musical Theater, and Costumes for Life and Stage have only been offered once. That's why their numbers are lower. And you can see that the Encore numbers are holding nice and steady. That's their after-school theater program. And I am a co-advisor for the 6th through 8th Drama Club. And we have, I believe it's 33 students this year. So we expect to see those Encore numbers jump in the years to come as those 6th, 7th, and 8th graders work their way up into the high school. So very excited about the growth of the theater program. Now we have a nice collage of photos. This one here was from the plays that they just did. Costuming, everything was just really fun for that show. Some of our littles with their artwork. These are pictures from the Chaffee Art Show, which was phenomenal this year. Just, I mean, it always is, but really some standout work. And do we have time for a few videos? Okay, perfect.
It's like one of our favorite parts.
This is 4th, 5th, and 6th grade chorus.
Should we clap? Should we clap?
So good.
Whoops. Well, now what do I do? What happened? Okay. Oh, does it just go on to the next one?
Down arrow, yep, just goes on to the next one.
Okay. This is the 4th through 12th grade orchestras. And then lastly, I promise this is a quick one, but this is the high school with the Stafford preschool, and it's just so cute.
Okay, here we go. One, two, 3, here we
Oh my God.
That was so cute. And that's what's happening in the arts.
Sounds like you're a little busy.
A little bit. We like it that way.
Thank you, Carol.
Welcome.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Carol.
All right, now continuous improvement plan.
Good evening, everyone. Bianca McKean, Assistant Superintendent. I am not going to spend too much time talking to you because we have 2 schools that are going to report. But since we did half of our continuous improvement plan updates In our previous meeting, we have some new board members, so I'm going to give a quick overview of what the continuous improvement plans are, and then invite our middle and high school up to share their presentations. So just as a reminder, all schools in Vermont are required to have continuous improvement plans, and that is how we connect our investments through our title grants is all based on our continuous improvement plan goals. So the state actually has some required categories that tie in very closely with our strategic plan. So schools are required to have a goal around academic achievement. That would fall under teaching and learning for us. They are required to have a safe and healthy schools goal. That connects very closely to the evolution of wellness through inclusive school communities. And then we also look to support equitable K-12 experiences for all of our students, and that is our resources for success. You will notice, I know we talked about it at the last month with our K-6 schools, a real emphasis on Act 139 and high-quality reading instruction. And although that's only required in statute K through 3, we have worked to incorporate literacy improvement goals in all of our district plans. And in next month, you will actually, through the consent agenda, I hope next month, be approving next year's continuous improvement plans, which also are approved by the Agency of Education and connect to our title funding for the following year. So I believe I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues to share their presentations for 7 through 12, unless there's general questions for me. Perfect. The middle school's going first.
Do you want to do the computer or not?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Megan Marsh. I'm the principal at the middle school. And all the pressure's on Sean.
Google has ruined my ability to do anything with Microsoft.
And this is Sean Murphy, our assistant principal.
What, did I miss?
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm always so excited to come up here and share all of the cool things we're doing, and then I actually get here and I panic a little bit. So I'm really hoping that the pride and excitement comes through more than the panic. So jumping right in, we've got an overview of the middle school and some of our demographic information. The next topic is twofold. It is how we are addressing our Fast Bridge progress. Our Fast Bridge is the assessment that we use to measure our students' ELA and math scores.
ELA is English Language Arts.
Thank you. I thought I was getting them all. So this is our second year of, this is Sean's slide. Sorry, Sean.
It's okay. So last year we started with a dipping our toe into some, we call it flexible advancement and remediation. That's what the FAR stands for. And then we added out because it's middle school and it sounds cool. And so we had our ELA and our science, or ELA and our math departments after each unit. They would take some time flexibly regrouping the students across houses. So that they could work on specific skills by grouping the kids that needed morphology together or needed phonics together or needed a little extra help with fractions. They could group them together and then they could focus on that specific skill. And so this year we decided to expand it and really try to offer some remediation as needed, but then also some academic enrichment. So we created an entire block where all of our teachers are offering something that's kind of curriculum parallel, I guess. So it's if science teachers are still working on science standards, but they're doing something outside of their curriculum, and same with social studies, math, and ELA are still focusing on that kind of skill gap and trying to fill that need by grouping students, very small groups, 6 to 8 kids, using Fast Bridge scores to target specific skills. So our ELA teachers are using UFly, which is a kind of a district program where they're working on, again, phonics, morphology with the kids that really need that. Math, same thing, 6 to 8 kids. And then it really is the one time in our day where students have choice over what they're doing. So for 4.5 weeks, they might be able to do some intro to Canva design, some coding fundamentals, food for thought, cooking. I know a popular one this time is Choose Your Own Adventure History Edition. Kids are hearing about what projects are being done in that and requesting from the teacher, oh, can I be in that one next time? So it's actually a really cool opportunity for kids to be able to do something that's a little bit different than what they're traditionally doing in class. Teachers are able to offer something that they can't necessarily fit into their regular curriculum, and then the kids that need that extra support in math and ELA can get that without missing out on something else. They're not being pulled out of another class to do this. They're able to do it built into the schedule. And then I think one of our favorite parts, and we really pushed this, is the kid that needs the math support and the kid that needs the ELA support is not going to have to do that every time. We want them to have, of the 8 sessions of Far Out, we want them to have at least 3 where they have that choice. So they're not just sitting there doing extra math, extra ELA all the time. They're getting to do some of this more fun stuff. And so I would say that this is kind of our pilot year of doing it, and we're looking to continue to improve it, continue to have more offerings, more student choice, and more student voice in what's being offered. So as we get a full staff, we'll be able to continue having more and more kids participating in these really cool things.
So this is our music teacher, Miss Solomon, offered a class on ukuleles, and the students decided to make a music video. So we've put in a 1-minute clip. The 1-minute clip is because we've been enjoined from going over 15 minutes in our presentation, not at all because my dance scene is the next one after this 1-minute clip.
Yeah, we didn't. I mean,
Another thing that we did with FastBridge this year was we really needed our students to know why they were taking it. If you know a middle schooler, you know that they need to know the why behind what they're doing in order for them to take it seriously and put effort in. So we spent a lot of time talking about what the scores mean and why we do this throughout the year. Our students worked in their advisories to create goals for themselves based on their FastBridge. So they looked at where they were at the beginning of the year, and they set goals for the middle of the year and the end of the year. They brainstormed different steps that they could take to reach that goal, and then they check in on it with their advisor throughout the year. Another thing that we did was we offered school-wide incentives for FastBridge scores. This was a huge hit. We looked at a couple of different categories. We acknowledged all of our students who made any progress between testing sessions. For that group of students, we offered PBIS award or points. That is our
Positive behavior intervention and
I was
supports.
getting there. That is our positive. It's a positive point, and our school store actually runs off of that. Our school store does not accept cash. You have to trade in your PBIS points for different items in the store. So they were very excited to get a big chunk of PBIS points. For the students who made the biggest increase in each math and ELA and in 7th and in 8th, they got to select from a variety of prizes. I think the most favorite was lunch with the principal, so we got to spend lots of time with students having food of their choice, which was really fun. One student did select to be pushed around in a rolly car, so between every class, I decorated this huge chair for her and pushed her around between classes. But that was a huge hit. They really appreciated that. And then we also acknowledged our students who scored in the top 10% nationally. Those students often have the hardest time making an increase because their scores are already so high, so we felt it was really important to celebrate those students too. They also had the choice of the 5 celebration rewards. The next area in our continuous improvement plan is around safe and healthy schools. We are focusing on attendance and how we can get more of our kids to school more consistently. So we have a couple of different programs that we have either began implementing or have continued to improve. The first is our CLIMB program. CLIMB stands for something very cool, and I don't remember what, but we use it as a more structured, productive in-school suspension and as an alternative to out-of-school suspensions for bigger offenses. And the CLIMB program is one of my favorite things ever. One, it keeps our students in our school building. It keeps them connected to our staff and it keeps that relationship strong. It keeps them up on their academic work so that when they come, oftentimes when we suspend students, they come back feeling more overwhelmed, more disconnected from their academics, more disconnected from their teachers. So they are in one room with an adult. They have a set time with their counselor to talk about their behavior, the consequences of their behavior. They have a set time with the teacher to go over the academics, and they have to complete an accountability project that is based on the offense that took place, which often includes writing, research, apologies, talking to their teachers. So they have that kind of learning that goes along with it that we really miss when we do regular old suspensions. We aren't teaching, we aren't offering different tools or strategies. So this is one I really, really like. And again, I think we can keep continuing to do it better and better, but I think it makes a massive impact on our student body.
Next, we have lifelong sports. This is such an amazing opportunity for our kids. We invest a lot of time and resources into being able to pull this off and do this well. And I think it gives kids an opportunity to potentially do something that they haven't done before, give them access to something that they wouldn't normally have access to. I know we had a handful of students who skied for the first time, and the instructors made sure that they pulled some of our staff inside and said that they've been doing this for years and years and years, and the group that they had was just so positive and so supportive of each other, and really made it a lot of fun. We had a new partner this year with Head Over Heels Gymnastics. If you haven't been there before, it's a nice open space, and they kind of customize it to the groups that are coming in. I happened to bring my kids there, I think a couple weeks after Head Over Heels, or after Lifelong Sports ended, and we chatted a little bit, and she talked about being a little nervous and not really sure how to, it was gonna go with middle schoolers, but had such great stories of the successes of the kids and how they were able to adapt what they did to meet the needs of the students that were there, and it was just such a great experience. Our teachers even, they have this thing called Teachers in the Wild, where our teachers, it's like a staff building, community building, they'll go out into the public and do various things, and so one of the Teachers in the Wild events happened to be also at Head Over Heels because of like that new partnership, and it's just not only great for the kids, it's great to get us out there into the community and making those types of connections.
outdoor adventure is another thing that I am really passionate about. We know that our kids need to move. We know that our kids need to be outside. Being in nature is incredibly calming and therapeutic. So this year we have 2 different outdoor classes. One is Wellness in the Wilderness, and that does a lot of, focuses a lot on social and emotional development. They work on very specific, like, self-regulation skills, stress tolerance, confidence, positive relationships among the students. And we also have an outdoor adventure course that really focuses on confidence building, problem solving, and confidence building. So we've had a couple of students that we can really see the growth. They have come out of their shell, they walk through the halls a little bit differently, they're interacting a little bit more in class, and we really can pinpoint it to their experiences in their outdoor adventure. So those are 2 programs that we are excited about and hope to keep growing.
One of my favorite things about working at the middle school is the idea that we put kids first every day, like I'm sure every other school does, and it's all about relationships and how we make those connections with kids, and part of that is getting them to school. And I think a lot of the things that we've mentioned are things that we try to do that are a little bit outside the box to get kids excited about school, to get kids connected to the middle school and wanting to come in, because they never know what's going to happen on that day, or they know exactly what's going to happen on that day and they want to be there for it. So one thing we did this year was this relationship mapping activity. So in the fall, we had a list of every student in our building, and we had teachers go through and check a box if they felt that they had how we defined a strong positive relationship with a kiddo. And then we had the kids do the same thing. So we brought a couple students in to help us define what does that strong positive relationship look like. And I'm sure if you look at that list, you could probably pick out the one that they emphasize, which is if you have it, you know it. In the fall, we had 184 responses. In the spring, we had 187 responses, and we went through, actually, we did the protocol for the spring today, but in the fall, we did a protocol where each house looked at their data, identified students where they had not identified maybe as many relationships that we were hoping, and then made kind of an action plan of what they could do to improve those relationships. So some of the kind of things that stood out as we were looking at the differences between the fall and the spring. In the fall, we had 4 students who identified 0 positive adult relationships in the building. And through, I think, some of that targeted work, all 4 of those students now identify at least 1 positive relationship in the building, which is so huge. And you can kind of see the chart is a little bit complicated, but the blue is the fall data and the red is the spring data. So in the fall, 23 students identified 0 to 5 positive relationships, and in the spring, 21. So that number went down, and I think the reason that number went down is because those students shifted right. So you can see that the majority, or the largest chunk is 74 students, both in the fall and spring, identified between 5 and 10 positive adult relationships in the building. And then it just goes up from there, which is so huge. And we recognize that we still have work to do. We have some students with only 1 positive relationship. So the conversations in houses today was, how can we build upon that? And the way that students fill it out, we know who the students are. We know who the adults that they've identified those positive relationships are, and so for the student with 1 positive relationship, we don't necessarily want the adult with 1 positive relationship doing all these steps to build that positive relationship because it's already there. We want the adults that don't have the positive relationship on the house to then go and build those positive relationships. But we know if we have challenges like attendance, we can go to some of the positive adults that were identified and have them help us have those conversations with those kids of what we can do to help them be more comfortable, help them feel more supported, and help them feel like they are a member of the Rutland Middle School community.
Can I just ask a quick question? Oh, look at that question.
Absolutely.
So they're not anonymous surveys? Is that what I just got from you?
Correct.
Okay.
And the way that the Google form works, the students know that it's not.
Because it's going in from their Google.
Yeah, they click
Gotcha.
through.
Just wanted to confirm.
Karen?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm really impressed with your program and your continuous improvement, especially where the testing comes in. I'm not certain that those tests are always accurate, because I think there are a lot of reasons that kids don't do well on them. But as a board, we have to be concerned with them, as I'm sure all districts are, especially in the reading and ELA. And I think this goes far and wide to help the kids understand where they're lacking, what can you do to improve it, and, you know, this is where the reality is with these. And I think they're old enough to understand that, you know, you have these tests, and if you're not doing well, it affects everyone, but it, you know, primarily the student who's not doing well, and I think this is a good way to help them improve, help them help themselves to improve.
Thank you. One thing we were really excited about, the students took a Google survey to see what elective they would be interested in, and we had a huge number ask to be in math or English.
Wow.
Which we were really surprised with, and I think that it says a lot about exactly what you're saying. They know that this is what they need to do.
Well, thank you. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy?
And I concur. It's amazing, the programs. When I think back to my middle school days, I wish I was here. And you both were my principal and assistant principal. One of the things that jumped out for me was the number of students experiencing homelessness, and I think that's 17% of the kids. And so my question is the middle school able to do anything to support those kids, and if so, what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have a care closet where students are able to access any hygiene supplies that they might need for themselves or their families. We have a food pantry with things that students can take home that are very specific to being able to cook in a microwave. We also have a clothes closet where the public has donated dozens and dozens and dozens of bags of clothes. So students are welcome to go shop in the clothes closet anytime. They have access to showers, washing machines, dryers, so we can support them with all of those things. We do a lot with attendance and helping them find resources in the community.
So if folks in the community wanted to donate to the care closet, what is the best way to donate?
Drop it right off.
Just drop it off?
We can come pick it up, or you can drop it off and we'll bring it down and sort it.
Is there any particular items that you might be lacking or looking for?
We have not put out our summer call yet, so any summer things would be phenomenal.
Okay.
Sunglasses, sandals, those little odds and ends that don't always get thought of.
Thank you. Oh, yes, please.
Regarding the Climb program, so this is the first I've heard about it, and I think it's amazing, and something I sure could have used when I was in school. Do you see a noticeable drop in, I almost hate to use the word, but recidivism? The kids not offending again after they've gone through this program? Or do you see great improvement in behaviors as a result of it?
I will tell you honestly, I did my last analysis in December, so I don't have updated information about that. But that would be good to go back and revisit.
And not to take points away from it, I'm just curious, but I think it's an amazing program, and you keep the kids in school. I mean, you send them home for 3 days, and especially with no parents, everybody's working. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add to Kathy's question about the students experiencing homelessness. So as we've reported previously, at the beginning of the year, it was about 7% of the students across the district. That number is an ever-changing number, as you can imagine right now, especially now that the cold weather vouchers have ended, we have lots of students in and out. We do have a homeless coordinator who reaches out to every newly identified family and does like a little intake to see if they need certain things to access their educational programming, such as sneakers. We are required to set aside Title I funds to support students experiencing homelessness. We strive for educational continuity for students, so if they are temporarily placed outside of the school of origin, we make a best interest determination. We look to find transportation for students to maintain educational continuity. And then we look at whatever other resources we might be able to provide sort of above and beyond through some of the things that Megan mentioned. And we do set aside some title funding, as we are required under the law, to help support some of those components. Not all of them. Some of them we are not allowed to support with title funds.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to welcome Mike Norman for the Activities and Athletics Report.
Except I think we have the high school first.
Oh, man. Great.
I didn't notice it either.
I couldn't help
We don't have a handout for that.
Oh,
Which is,
What are we
it's
doing?
their continuous improvement as well, just to stand.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yes.
no handout?
That's all I'm saying. Just call me anytime you like it. Just come. And I can take over. Gotta wait till it's
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. We're going to talk about our cell phone policy, but I'm starting a timer. That's why I have my cell phone.
Sure. Can you just pause for a second? Do people have this packet?
I don't.
No.
We have it.
If you want to talk, run.
Oh, okay.
Let's see who finishes first, Greg.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. So, as has been mentioned, as a part of the continuous improvement plan process, Rutland High School has identified some specific goals. We're going to talk about those this evening. First of all, in terms of some of the big numbers that have been included in all of them, you can see our numbers there. Homelessness was asked about at the previous. Ours hovers around 2%. As Bianca mentioned, though, it bounces around a lot, even during the course of the year. So it is kind of a snapshot at any given moment. So the important thing I always want to not lose sight of is that we talk about these numbers, and there's a lot that happens sort of between the numbers. There's a lot that happens in schools that are not necessarily quantifiable. So I just included some pictures here, and these are two events which took place just in late winter, early spring. The two on the top, we held a financial reality fair. This was a whole day event. Some of you were there. Thank you for your support and participation there. And this was an all-day event which really focused on employability skills. Basically the what comes after school kind of conversation for students. So we invited in partners from around the community, Rutland Regional Medical Center, Seward Associates, Castleton, as well as a number of others that offered presentations to students that talked about these are the things that we look for as we're looking to hire people. The day ended with a series of drawings and prizes for students. So it was a great event. Kim Ransom and Brett Lertola really took the lead in terms of putting that day together. So it was a great event. And then, as was mentioned, Soup Bowls for Hunger. Great event, great fundraiser. Where do those bowls come from? All before that great event, there's literally months worth. And these pictures were taken on a Saturday. when about a dozen students came in on their own free time, along with Beth McReynolds, to the ceramics lab, and they just spent the whole day making those soup bowls, painting them, decorating them, glazing them, et cetera, giving of their time. That really makes that event possible down the road. So again, I always want to sort of re-ground us in the conversation. When we talk about these numbers, there's a lot that goes on in between those numbers that's important to remember. Our next slide, two areas of focus for us, and you'll hear some consistency throughout the district. Right, K through 12, you've been hearing about academic achievement and then safe and healthy schools, using some of the Portrait of a Graduate language, critical thinking, and wellness. In grades 9 through 12, we've really been focusing on two big areas. The first area in terms of academics, within that has been literacy. We began measuring literacy skills, both ELA, as you heard in the middle school, both ELA as well as math, literacy skills in particular, and they really emerged, literacy skills in particular, emerged as a need for an area of focus. So the first part of that has been focusing on measuring student progress in terms of literacy, and the second part of that has been interventions for students that need assistance with their literacy skills. So Brett is going to talk a little bit tonight about the assessment process through FastBridge testing and getting that. We're rolling that up through the grades. Jen is going to talk a little bit about the intervention strategies that we're putting into place. The second area of focus is in the area of wellness. In particular, as you've heard in past years, digital wellness has been an area of focus for us. As I said, you're here with a cell phone, you're going to hear more about it. Tiffany Morano is going to talk a little bit about our digital wellness initiative. We initiated a new policy last year. We're in our second year of implementation there. We're seeing some good results, and we are anticipating there's a new state law actually which takes effect next year, and we have some procedures prepared to move into that. So,
can I just ask you a question?
Yes.
So we've kind of been in this process with the ban on cell phones for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
So are you seeing any improvement in student? You are?
We'll tell you in just a minute.
Okay.
I got numbers to back it up.
Great.
All right.
Good question, though.
Without further ado.
Good evening, everybody. Brett Lortola, Associate Principal at the high school. I kind of focus in my role a lot on the curriculum instruction assessment kind of thing. So FastBridge kind of lends itself towards my position. So I'll give you kind of an overview of how we're, like Greg mentioned, rolling up FastBridge. Historically, it's been done in the primaries and all the way up through intermediate and middle school, but only for the last couple of years have we rolled it up into the high school. So the testing that we do is both in math and ELA. It measures measures where students are at based on certain benchmarks and norms nationally throughout the district, things like that. So it gives us an idea of where students are at and what they might need in order to improve their skills in those areas. What we do district-wide is we have 3 testing sessions per year. So students will do their math and ELA tests both in the fall, the winter, and the spring. So we're going to show you tonight some of the data that we've got for this year for our 9th grade and our 10th grade from the fall to the winter. We haven't done the spring one yet. So you kind of get a snapshot of what we're looking at, what we're seeing for current data for our 9th and 10th graders. Like I said, we've been rolling it up. So last year was the first year we did it with our 9th grade students. We did the winter and the spring sessions last year. We've since expanded this year. We've done, or will be doing, all 3 sessions with both our 9th and our current 10th grade. And we're also in the process of rolling it up even more. We did our 11th grade students this past winter, and we'll do them in the spring as well. So it's going to provide us with a lot of good longitudinal data. And then when we get to talking about the interventions, we'll be able to see with that longitudinal data whether our whether our interventions that we're putting in place are actually helping, working. So this slide kind of gives you just an overview. The ELA tests are comprised of 2 different tests that students take. The A reading is just kind of a broad reading ability test. Morphology, which is if you're not familiar with that, it's the study of prefixes, roots, suffixes, things like that. So whether or not kids can identify those and kind of understand the meaning. Comprehension also is included in that. And then auto reading is just quick decoding. I can identify this word, I know what it means, I know what it sounds like, that kind of thing. And then the math tests are really correlated to the Common Core state standards. A lot of the categories that are covered in the Common Core, so algebra, geometry, ratios, proportions, things like that. And then CBM math is just kind of how quickly your mind works when you're doing those math calculations. Can you quickly do your addition, subtraction, division, facts, things like that. So I'll give you some kind of overview of what you're looking at here. You're going to see the first slide is 9th grade reading, then you'll do 10th grade reading, and then we'll have the math ones to follow. You can kind of see, I did have a key up there. So basically in the blue you'll see as advanced, those are, Fastbridge notes them as high flyers. So that group of students is likely to exceed grade level expectations. And then the green are low risk, they're likely to meet grade level expectations. Yellow is some risk, so with a little help, they might be able to meet grade level expectations. And then red obviously is high risk, so even with help, they are pretty far behind and they might need a lot more support. So you'll see in this slide, this is again on the left, it's kind of 2 separate tests. On the left is the fall results. On the right is the winter results. So you can see we've kind of made some gains. If you look at, I kind of look at the bottom 2 levels and compare those. So we made some gains from the fall to the winter. We've had more students in the winter that are in the green and the blue areas as well. Similarly, over on the right-hand side, we've made a little bit more gains. We've had more kids coming out of the red and the yellow going up to the green. So that is our current 9th grade results so far this year. And then we've got 10th grade. So again, similar results as well. We've got a few more students moving from the yellow and the red up into the green and the blue. And then as well with the auto reading test as well. Yeah, go ahead. Oh wait, did we?
didn't do math.
Oh, you know what? This one's out of order. Just go one more. There we go. So math is a little bit kind of a different story. While we did see some growth, we also saw some maybe, I don't know if regression is the right word, but things going in the wrong direction, but only slightly. So let me find so I can just look at it up there. So you'll see we've got on the A math, which is just kind of general math knowledge. This is our 9th grade students. So on the left-hand chart there, we do have some higher percentages in the red going from fall to winter. However, there are less percentages in the yellow. So, if you look at it, take a deeper dive, we've got a few more percentages in the red and the green. So depending on how you look at it, it could be a good thing, could be not so good thing, but either way, it's telling us something. And then similarly over on the right-hand side with those quick math facts, we are seeing a little bit of a regression from the fall to the winter on those lower 2 levels. And then we'll have the 10th grade. And the 10th grade actually looks a little bit better than the 9th grade does this year so far. So Jen is going to now talk a little bit about the interventions that we're putting in place based on this data that we're seeing specifically for right now reading, but then we're also going to talk about some of the challenges that we've seen in the math part of it as well.
Okay, hi, I'm Jen Wigmore. Thank you for having us. So I am going to talk about what we're doing now. We see the data, we know what we're dealing with, and what will we do about it. I would say, and I think we would all agree, that the most impactful thing we did this year was that we hired an academic interventionist for ELA. She has been phenomenal. She hit the ground running. After a week, I felt like she had been there forever. She really has done an amazing job. She does a lot. She provides interventions during our flex blocks for students who are mostly the students that are in the reds for ELA. So those are the ones that we're focusing on right now. She pushes into classes, and when she does that, she's modeling how to teach vocabulary and in ELA strategies to teachers so that they're learning how to teach that, because a science teacher doesn't often feel very confident in teaching students how to read, but they have to read to do science. So they're helping with that. Our big focus is on vocabulary, and like Brett said, morphology is a lot of what they're focusing on, and that's to build their basic skills and their knowledge. She's divided them up into tiers. So the first tier, or the second tier, is academic vocabulary. After basic vocabulary, then we have academic vocabulary, and then content-specific vocabulary. And we're creating lists within the school, all different. Science has certain specific vocabulary that they're using. But then the cool thing that she's doing, and she's going to take all these lists of vocabulary, and she's going to put them together and find out where certain words are used across all the curriculums, and to help students learn that words have different meanings, or the same word can have different meanings. She's collaborating with teachers, or she's trying to help students build connections with their prior knowledge and connections with these multiple meaning words. She's collaborating with teachers and professional development, and we're continually examining the data to see what we need and what we can do differently. Okay. So looking ahead, I would say, like I said, our largest initiative is the vocabulary initiative, and we're identifying those words that are used continually for students. We're looking at the morphology so that they can, when they look at a word and they recognize maybe what the prefix is, they're able to figure out what the meaning of the word is. As you could see from our math data that Brett was showing us, we have some work to do in math as well, so we're hoping to do math intervention for students as well. We have ongoing professional development. We'll continue using and training our faculty and our administration on EduClimber. And for those of you who don't know what EduClimber is, it's a powerful tool that houses all of our data for attendance, for discipline, and our academic data, so that we can use that to see where we should go next. We're working with PLCs and also working on professional development during in-service. And even further, continuing to identify that essential vocabulary. One of the things that, another thing we're doing is wide reading, or we're going to start that. We're going to start a soft introduction to that this year. But that's just asking teachers in content areas to spend time weekly having students literally read whatever they want. We're taking surveys to find out what it is they would like to read, and we're providing them with those materials. And it's usually we want them to access a wide variety and a wide content area of reading. And we're doing that soft launch. We're also continuing, like I said, the professional development. We'd like to replicate what Sarah has done in ELA with math. And as soon as we can find a person who would like to do that, we are looking for a math interventionist. So if any of you
Anybody good with numbers?
Yeah. Come on, Charlene, you can do it.
I gotta get through tomorrow.
Oh, it is the 15th. And again, the most important part is that we maintain, maintain this by examining the data constantly and finding out where the student need is, and then grouping them and providing interventions for them that they need. And Tiffany is going to talk about digital wellness.
Hi,
I'm Tiffany Morano. I'm one of the associate principals at the high school, and I am new this year. So some of this information was, collected prior to my joining the team. The data that you're going to see is from EduClimber, which is what, Jen spoke to a little bit ago. It's where we kind of house all of our information. So anytime we want to go back and look over the last couple years to see how we're progressing, either decreasing or increasing in behaviors, attendance, we just go here to pull that, and that's what you're going to see. So like Greg had said, Act 72 was passed, and it's requiring that all schools adopt a policy to be able to implement kids and staff not having cell phones from the start of the day to the end of the day, depending on when their days start and end. So in 2023 to 2024, professional development on digital awareness and wellness was introduced at the high school. 24-25, the high school implemented a new procedures, really, working on keeping the kids only having cell phones at certain times of the day when it wasn't impacting their learning while they were in classrooms and things of that nature. This school year, we've been implementing what was implemented last year, and you are going to see that we have had some really nice success. So I'm hoping that the transition to the new law of none at all, we think there will be some hiccups at the very beginning of the year, but hopefully it will smooth out like it has been over this year. So we have our first set of data is just total incidences at the high school from August to April 2025. So last year, total, all of our behavioral issues, there were 678 total. This year, from August to April of 2026, we're down to 527 total incidences, everything included. So we have had a decrease of 22% of just overall behaviors in general. And I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of what we have been doing differently this year. But if we look at as far as our electronic incidences, so last year, the first year that they implemented the policies and procedures at the high school, we had 289 cell phone violations. We level them, first violation, second violation, third violation, and then so on. We are down 38% this year to just 180. I know that still seems like quite a bit, but it is down 109 violations. Some of these kids are repeat offenders. Some of them only have it happen once and they don't do it again because they do not want to be without their cell phone for the whole day. Yes, ma'am.
If a student brings a cell phone to school and there is, the teacher finds him or her on the phone, what is the consequence?
So for the first time, they call down to the attendance office, they send the student down, and the student has to turn their phone in. We have little lock boxes behind the secretaries, so they turn it in, we lock it, at the end of the day, they pick it up. The parents get a phone call, a letter saying your child violated had their first phone violation, we mark it in Infinite Campus, just so we can keep track. Happens a second time, same student, whether it's the same class or a different class, we have data knowing that they've already been down once. The second time, they have to turn their cell phone in for 20 days. So by the time they arrive to the time they leave, we keep it in a little locked box, and that's where it stays. Third time is 40 days.
And they get it back at the end of the day?
They get it back at the end of the day, yes, ma'am. Third time, 40 days. If it continues, we have had some incidences where we may have had a fake phone given to us. We happen to see the student in the cafeteria on their cell phone.
Wow.
So then we decide, is it more days added? Is it the parent coming to get it? Or we make the parents aware that their child has given us a fake phone?
Right.
Or, what is it? What do we need to do to go next? So it just depends on the student, really. That's going to look a little bit different next year, and I'm going to explain kind of what next year may look like, but that's kind of our process. So we have had, a down spike or a down in whatever.
Decrease.
We dropped in our violations. So then the next one is looking at kind of like the locations of our incidences, and last year we really tracked classroom, no location, which I kind of think is like other. We weren't saying necessarily where it was happening. and then we had 2 in the hallway. I think we've done a better job of denoting where the location is happening, whether it's in the classroom, in the bathrooms, things of that nature, really trying to pay attention to where the kids are having these violations. But again, so our expectations are in place. The teachers have been working on enforcing the policy in their classrooms. We're down, as far as in the classroom, we're down 26% of incidences, and then 58 fewer incidences in other areas. One of the things that I think is making quite a bit of a difference is we all have mobile carts now. We're in the hallways with desks and our laptops and screens, so we're able to be present and moving around the hallways a lot more. We're not confined to doing our work in our office or being in the hallway and not being able to complete work. So we have made it so we can move around the building. We can be in the main foyer, which is near the bathrooms. We can be by my office, which is also near the bathrooms. We can be on the second floor in the science wing by the bathrooms. So we are constantly trying to move so the kids can see us be available and know that we're watching and seeing their phones. Right now, they are allowed to have phones in the hallways and in the cafeteria. So if as they're switching classes, they are allowed to be on their cell phones at cafeteria time, lunchtime, they can be on their phones. Class time or any type of learning, they cannot be on their phones.
Is that going to change?
That's going to change. So if you look at our students by grades, right now our biggest decrease is going from our 10th graders last year. They're now 11th graders this year, and we've seen a 73% decrease in their phone usage. So whatever happened from 10th grade to 11th grade, they're not as interested in getting caught with their phones. They really want to have access to them. So 171 last year to 47 this year. It's a pretty nice decrease in numbers. 9th to 10th grade, we did have a decrease, 27 less referrals. 11th to 12th grade, there's some less, 17% less. Our highest flyers right now are freshmen. So if, I think they're just figuring it out, seeing what they can get away with before the change comes, because they all know the change is coming. They're all very frustrated by it. But our 9th graders are definitely more of our repeaters as well. So, yes, ma'am.
Now, every student has a computer.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
about what they can do on their computer during class or?
So that's something that we've talked about as well, because what we're noticing is, as we take cell phones away from students, they're just bypassing to another way to get access to something. So our IT department is really quick to pick up on things. We as Go Guardians, we access anything the kids do on their computers that they shouldn't, we get alerts to. So we're able to see what they're looking at, content that they shouldn't be able to do. So we're trying to shut things down as they're figuring out how to get around them.
Go Guardian is a program that we use as a district to monitor, and we get alerts when someone is looking at something maybe they shouldn't be, or that's questionable.
And the teachers have the ability to also see what the students are doing during classes as well, so they can shut things down as well if they're doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, like playing games or something like that.
Right.
For the kids in their class. So
Yeah,
they're
just the
able to
kids
see.
in their class, yep.
So we have a pretty good eye on the technology that's happening. Digital watches or Apple Watches and stuff are going to be things we're going to have to really start monitoring as well, just because it's, you can still communicate without your phone. All the things they
teach me.
So to answer your question, what is next year going to look like? The goal of the policy really is to enable both students and teachers to work free from distractions. And again, it's going to be a shift for teachers as well, and admin. We communicate with each other, through text or walkie-talkie or whatever. So we're also going to have to kind of rein in how we communicate with each other. But basically what's going to happen is the cell phones have to be inaccessible and silent during the school days. So from the start of their day to the end of their day. So some of our kids start at B block. So obviously if they're in, so it would start for them for B block and at the end of B block. So depending on when they're supposed to be with us. They're going to be allowed to keep their devices on their person, in their locker. or they can ask for us to hold it if they think it's going to be an issue. They cannot have it in passing. They cannot have it in the bathroom. They cannot have it while they're in the cafeteria. There will be no usage of phone, watches, earbuds, anything.
When do you think you will have any results of, or being able to say, okay, the cell phone policy has been a success because we're seeing improvement in student behavior or academics?
So, I mean, looking at the charts that we were just looking at, my crystal ball, 12 months from tonight, the numbers will be higher, right? I mean, we're increasing the amount of time, we're increasing the expectation, so sort of the scale is shifting up, so there will be more conversations with students about, look, this is not an appropriate time to be using it. From a student perspective, we're changing the rules.
And it's a difficult one.
It is. Ultimately, and a lot of our conversations with faculty has been about, like, look, this is not this finger wagging, thou shalt not. The point of this is that students are leaving high school prepared for and able to function without their phone in a really ongoing way. Like, we want students to have a healthy relationship with their phone. If I were to guess, every adult in this room has their phone with them right now. But we're able to function in a healthy way and still be able to engage in conversations and know how to make eye contact and and talk on the phone and do face-to-face things. So the focus, we anticipate that there will be more incidences where that necessitate the conversation about, this is the expectation about what a healthy relationship looks like.
I would say too that already we've seen a difference. I've heard teachers saying all the time, kids are actually talking to each other now. They're really engaging in conversations with each other. And yesterday we had a assembly. And at the beginning of the assembly, we said to them, no cell phones. This is just like in your classroom. And I think I don't know about you guys, but I saw one cell phone.
And it's every student is in the gym at the same time.
Right. They all complied with that. And so, of course, they were paying more attention to the speaker because they weren't on their phones. Right. So we're already seeing, we don't have data on it, specific academic data, but I just think it's been an improvement.
One of the other two ways in which we're sort of working on this. There's a group of faculty that's meeting each month to look at our advisory program. So we wrote a grant, and fortunately, the grant was approved. I've been on Amazon. I've purchased. You'll laugh. Uno, Mad Libs, Spirograph, Jenga. Like apples to apples. Just all in-person, face-to-face games, and each advisory is going to get a box of games to play. The idea being, it's a lot less tempting to pick up your phone when you're actually engaged in a card game with a person in real time. So that's one part of it. We also just found out today another grant was approved for our PACE program. Again, sort of the same thing. Giving students activities, lifetime sports, and activities to engage in as an alternative to. So we don't want this to be just thou shalt not. Like, it's not just this, like, you're in trouble if. How about if you do this other thing instead? So trying to offer alternatives and other things to do. Your question about what it looks like when it's successful is a really good one, though, because I can tell you if the chart is the measure, it's going to be higher next year. Like if fewer incidences is the measure, I can almost guarantee you there's going to be more incidences next year. But that's not our goal. Our goal is not to have fewer incidences. Our goal is to engage in those conversations, give students alternatives, and then over time, there's less of a need for those incidences.
Yes, sir. What reactions are you getting from parents about the changes so far?
It's a mixed bag, really. We have some parents who are very supportive of this, and are looking forward to their child being more disconnected from their phone and really more focused at school. We have some parents who are feeling very, I think, nervous about not being able to contact their student or child anytime of the day that they need to. They're feeling that, like, well, what if something happens and I need to contact my student? And I think we're trying to do a good job of just reminding them we have multiple secretaries, multiple offices, every room has a phone. Like, we will ensure that you can reach your child if you need to. So I think it's just a matter of getting this information out ahead of time and really reassuring them that we will ensure that you can have contact with your child if something happens or if you need them. So I think it's a little bit of both.
Other questions on that part? All right, thank you. So, to bring this to close, our goal as a comprehensive high school is, and you've heard this before, every student, every day. And underlying that principle is we're a single institution, but our goal is to really offer programs that are as varied as every student who walks in the door. And you can see some of the options there, things like dual enrollment, global studies and STEM endorsements, students are engaged in early college. Yes Plan is coming up, all very individualized learning opportunities for students. So we have these areas of focus, but we are individualizing. And I do want to highlight just one in particular in terms of flexible programming. Our PLACE program, which actually began with a Rutland grant, it continues to grow. And this is basically an internship program during the school day. We now have sign-ups for next year. There's a total of 80 students that have signed up for PLACE for next year in the hopes of being placed into different internships during the school day. And that's even before we do the PLACE program during YES. That's that's in addition, that's completely separate. Our financial reality fair, I mentioned before, was really successful. And that financial literacy piece is something that's being incorporated more and more into the high school. So, in conclusion, as I mentioned, our two areas of focus, critical thinking and wellness. The critical thinking and academic achievement is really focused on measuring student skills in ELA and math. Within those areas, we're really focusing on literacy and engaging in some interventions. And it's important to note, with those FastBridge assessment, you saw just those little upticks in literacy. We're offering interventions in literacy. So we're seeing just from the fall to the winter, just halfway through the year, we're seeing this little uptick in terms of literacy skills. We're hopeful that we're going to continue to see them. And it's important to note, each round of test is slightly harder than the previous one. So if students are staying level, the scale is ticking up, so the results are going to effectively go down. So we're trying to tick up against that scale, and we need to do more in that area with math. That's an area that we need to focus on. Continue to focus on literacy, and then also focus on math. And in terms of wellness, our more specific area is digital wellness, and we're anticipating the changes in the law for next year. Questions?
Stephanie? I have a couple. So, with what, piggyback on something that Tiffany said, you guys are in the hallways more with your rolling carts, which I think is amazing. Now, we've talked about cell phone use. How's that helped with discipline issues? Non-cell phone discipline issues? Are we seeing less fighting type of issues that in the hallway? Jen's eyes,
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a big difference there.
I mean,
There we go.
Right.
Yeah.
And I even
So-
Okay, so that includes,
Everything.
okay, okay.
And I think also using Hall Pass now as well. So one of the things we're able to see is the students get what we call at the high school air passes. So anytime they leave a classroom to go to the restroom, to go to the nurse, the teacher signs them out digitally. So we are able to see who's supposed to be in the hallway. So one of our monitors, I know that when we're there, like, I have one where I'm doing work, but I also have the monitor up that shows me the kids who are supposed to be in the hallway. There's a picture of them. So if somebody walks by me,
So cool.
I kind of scroll up to say, okay, am I recognizing them from the screen? If they're not there, it's like, oh, you're not on hall pass, where are you going? So then we're able to redirect them to either get the pass or go back to class. You know, so it's kind of like we're able to see who's supposed to be there. Some kids are supposed to go to the bathroom at the attendance and they go up to the second floor, and if someone says, well, you're supposed to be downstairs, we just redirect them. So we're able to kind of see more. I think I've enjoyed the hall pass. Actually,
Where was that? 4 years,
It
3
also
years
tracks
ago.
how long it also tracks the amount of time they're out of class
Yeah.
too.
Right.
So we can run reports and say, you know, if we see this student a lot in the hallway, we run a report and say, oh, you had 5, 6, 7 passes today. You're missing instructional time.
Right.
And that's going to affect FastBridge scores, and you know, it's a domino effect from
And
there.
that helps us make decisions about what's best for them as far as, like, you know, do they need to go to the bathroom every block? Is it just, you know what I mean? So we can kind of make some decisions about their movement as well. So.
And you raised a good question in terms of parents. That data is really valuable in conversations with parents. You know, hey, how come my student's grade is not so great? Well, I'm noticing that, you know, there's a 27-minute bathroom break.
Quite today. Time today.
Yeah, right.
I think I would have liked it and not liked it. My second question is my understanding, and this might be, I don't know, you or Greg or Carol, is the YES plan, the Wizard of Oz, that's part of their YES plan, correct?
Yes.
Now, do they get, since it's starting so much earlier than the normal YES plan, are they getting some other type of credit along with their YES plan, or is it just straight YES plan credit?
It's straight YES plan credit. It's also a co-curricular activity. So like we just had a play, All in Disguise, which is sort of a non-credit bearing.
Okay.
It's like a co-curricular activity. So it's this combination of co-curricular, and then that then becomes their YES plan. So
Okay.
it's like, sure, you know, pummeled with rehearsals during the course of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bianca?
I just want to wrap this back up. When we're talking about continuous improvement, these plans, these goals we set, we tie all of our title funding to this. So a lot of what you heard people talk about related to Greg speaking about the games for advisory, the lifelong sports, the reading interventionist, hopefully a math interventionist, all of those programs are funded through our title grants. And there's a lot of flexibility, which you've heard me talk about before, but we have really tried to utilize those title funds in different ways to allow us to prioritize the needs of our students. And, you know, even some of the programs that the middle school talked about in their far out block, like, you know, we purchased exercise equipment with our title grant fund. So there's a lot of flexibility there, and I appreciate the collaboration of the building principals to be creative and think outside the box for how we can use that funding.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that was very helpful.
I like that.
Really appreciated it.
Coach Norman, activities and athletics.
Last one.
Last but not least. I guess it's just you.
Last one overall.
Yep.
That's too bad.
Your report.
Thank you.
It's getting shorter and shorter by the moment.
Between the phone between two roses.
About 15 minutes. You get the award.
All right. Hello again. Thank you for the opportunity to talk with you this evening. This is our annual report in regards to activities and athletics. Over the course of the report, Mike is going to go over some of the numbers, talking about participation and enrollment, and then Megan and I are going to go over some information in regards to some survey data.
Good evening, everybody. Mike Norman, Athletic and Activities Director. Thank you for having me. I'm going to go through the numbers here. If it's a little bit bland, I think it's the same thing. If you have any questions in regards to any of this stuff, please ask at any time. The first slide there talks about our activities and athletics, and what you see there is that how many kids or students are participating in one activity, 2, all the way down to 7. And it's kind of, I don't know how they do it. Again, you have a couple of high flyers in attendance here tonight that are involved with a lot of stuff there. Beneath that is the athletic count as well, where we have, 108 student athletes all the way down to a person that, 4 people that participated on 5 teams. Now, that could be varsity football, JV football, varsity basketball, JV basketball, and so forth. But if you look at our total enrollment, it was 698, and 446 students at the high school participated. So that number's, 63.90, and that's where I think we've made some improvement. Again, like many school districts, not just in Vermont, but nationwide, it's coming back. I think we're still feeling the effects of COVID. Not that that's an excuse, but a lot of these kids that were in 6th grade, 7th grade are coming back, and I think that's a real positive thing for the future. The next sheet. Yeah,
So
sure.
is the 36.10% the total not participating in any activity, or just those who are participating in athletics?
That means that they don't participate in a sport, or they don't participate in a club or activity. Again, having been at the high school for a long time, there was a day there where, 90% of the kids were involved with sports and activities. And, things have changed certainly, but we're working on trying to improve that. But like I said, you're new to the board. I mean, right after COVID and during COVID, it was a lot higher than that. If you go to the next sheet, is the Athletic and Activities Council, and basically what that is a group of folks. At one time, I was just the athletic director, and Glenn Olson was the activities director, and we had 2 separate councils. I became the activities director probably 10 or 12 years ago, and now we bring both parties, to one meeting. We meet probably 4 or 5 times, 6 times, as needed throughout the school year, and we have teachers, school board members, coaches, parents, kids, and we just talk about what needs to be talked about. It could be, compensation, it could be the number of sports that we have and how many coaches we have. It could be, if we want to add a sport or what have you. This was all put into place back when David Block was the principal and superintendent, so rather than people coming here and attacking the school board at the school board meeting, it was handled in a smaller, better environment, and it's been a real healthy situation. And what it's allowed me to do is to get to know some of you all, and right back at myself as well, and it's been a really positive thing there. The next page is the academic achievement page. I think we take great pride in that. I had 2 kids go through the school system here, and we always talk about having to be a student before you're a student athlete and be involved in co-curricular activities. Amelia's over there, that's her, and Thomas Carter. They were selected right here in the state of Vermont as 2 of the top scholar athletes. Sidebar here, and it was mentioned earlier that Amelia was selected as the District 5 or Section 5 female winner. So she's one of 8 in the country that is vying to be the student athlete of the year. And we've had Lauren Solomano did it back a couple of years ago, and I think it speaks to her certainly, to Thomas, and to the product that we provide for these young people.
Congratulations! I just want to get that straight.
Tri-scholar athlete. Typically, what that means is that you're going to play 3 sports: fall, winter, and spring, and you're going to be on the honor roll all year long, including the yes plan. Okay. Every year at the senior awards night, we recognize the people that have done it for their entire school career. And at that point in time, what they do is they get their, pass in 3 pictures, we put it on the picture plaque, and it's put up in the walls of the high school. And to me, that's epitomizes what student athlete is. Beneath that is the AAA award, the Academic Achievement Award, and that's also same type of thing. We had 14 underclassmen, 4 graduating seniors, but what that is people who do 120 hours of community service. And again, knowing them a little bit, those 2 young folks over there, they do a lot more than 120 years. So, and a lot of the stuff goes unnoticed, and they don't want a lot of recognition, but I think it's a credit to them, and again, it's a credit to everybody that's a part of it. Getting into the numbers here, the next page talks about enrollment and student count and teams, and basically goes fall, winter, and spring, and then it talks about the coaches, and then on the margin, there's an asterisk, and what that means is that a stipend, a paid position has been taken, and it's been split in half, it's been split in thirds, it's been split into quarters. It does not take into consideration how many volunteer coaches that we have. And again, some people do not like to take a stipend because they just like to be a volunteer, so they don't feel that pressure to have to be there. They're always there, but they just don't do that. And again, our numbers are going up, again, from COVID and coming out of COVID, and so far this year, our numbers have gone up. It's a good problem to have. We have, like the spring, we have 3 full baseball teams. We just added a 3rd high school softball coach because there's just so many kids that are doing it, and it's a good problem. The problem, I should say, not the problem, the challenge is, one, finding a schedule for them to play. Like, we have like 28 girls playing softball, which is awesome, and that's credit goes to Abby and Megan and Sean and all those folks down there. There was a time that we had a 7th grade softball team and an 8th grade softball team. Now we only have 1, and what we're just trying to rotate the numbers and doing the best that we possibly can, and you all have given us the ability to add extra games for them to participate in. And again, the credit goes to certainly Abby, because she's out there beating the bushes. So next year, there will be a stronger 3rd level team at the high school, and I think that it's going to just kind of perpetuate itself. I think the thing, and I think Abby's figured it out, if you don't ask, they're not going to come and participate. I think there was a time at Rutland High School and middle school, kids just flocked to do anything. A lot of kids today need to be asked because of all these different things that you're talking about, difficult conversations, what have you. But the other thing is that even in myself, you got to kind of transform. If Megan's playing football for me, I need to make sure that I'm staying in contact with Megan, because if Megan doesn't feel that she's being valued, she's probably not going to come back and participate, and just it kind of feeds off of itself. And again, the kids that are there, but it goes through the boy, goes through the student count for all 3 sports, for the participation, coaches, and it's the same that it's been. I know in the past there's been some concern about certain programs having more coaches and what have you, but I can assure you that all boys and girls sports, it's Title IX compliant. They're enough, but some people have been a little bit creative with how they've structured their, and it was a conversation I had with, Bianca last week about how do we do this and that, but again, there'll be a new sheriff in town on July 1st, so tag you're it, and, he can figure that out.
What?
I'm a phone call away. You go to the next page here, again, just breaks down by numbers, high school, middle school, and it gives you some data there, and some people here are very analytical and kind of figure that stuff out. If people have any questions, feel free to ask. Then we get into
sorry, Mike, if you printed one online with the packet that was sent, this is an updated slide, the one we just looked at. Okay, it's different from what we sent to you on Friday.
And is this the 24, 25, obviously because we're still in?
This is 24, 25, yeah. But I can tell you the numbers for this year are up right now. On it. Then it gets into clubs and activities, activity enrollment. It gives you a 5-year window or snapshot of what's going on. And we have lots of clubs. We have quite a few clubs at the high school that are new. And basically, the procedure or policy is that if somebody wanted to start a Pokemon club, they would come to me. They have to have an advisor, ideally in the building. They'd have to have a proposal and show us that it would sustain itself more than just 1 year, or the lifespan or the career of that student being in the high school. And then probably after 2 or 3 years, and maybe sometimes it's happened after a year, I go to my boss, Greg, who goes to the big boss and says, we have X amount of kids in this club, can we get, funding for that? Because typically, the athletic and activities budget is handed into Ted somewhere in the middle of October. But I think our numbers are strong. One, again, to my point earlier, if you look at, oh boy, let me just see here. Key Club. If you ask, they will come, and you build, they will come. Again, a lot of credit goes to Rebecca Badgley and Jamie Nichols. Jamie got out of it, Rebecca wasn't doing it. We had some outside people doing it, and it just quickly, it just went downhill. We didn't do anything. And then no disrespect to those folks, they came back on board and have just knocked it out of the park.
GMTI just not functioning anymore?
Correct.
GMTI.
GMTI used to be the biggest club at Rutland High School. Those of you that know Jerry Kreitzer,
Yeah.
in your communications class, you probably took that.
Green Mountain Teen
You probably
Institute.
Yeah, I was gonna say, looking around, I'm so old, I was teaching when they were around. And they
What
used
you
to
say about
have
us?
all kinds, and
That's
that's
who he was talking about.
it's going on. Hopefully that comes back, because I think it provides a great service. Then we get into Rutland Middle School, and the numbers there are pretty consistent with the high school. Again, then we start talking about the intermediate school as well, because typically in athletics, it's 7 through 12, in activities, it's K to 12, or basically 3 to 12. And you go to the last page that I'm gonna turn it over to these guys here. I think it's something that we take for granted, I take for granted. We have a really good athletic training situation in the school system here. Matt Howland is now the main point person of being there after school, along with some Castleton State trainers, along with Tyler White, who's been around forever. And ideally, we would have an athletic trainer at every event, at every practice, all the time. Two things. One, there's not enough folks that are in the area that are licensed to do it. And then number two is, the financial piece of it. But we are in compliance with what the state requires, but I think we provide a lot more. The Booster Club is huge in providing a lot of the modalities that you all, if you've had to go to rehab around here, which I have, they hook you up to all the STEM and all that. We have that stuff at school. And I can speak from myself, having had 2 knee replacements. They really helped me back on the mend, but I can attest to that with my own children, and even they're young adults, and they still reach back out to Tyler for help, and I think that's a huge plus. Any questions on the numbers? I know it's an awful lot in a short period of time.
So I do want to highlight one program in particular. Our Unified Sports program is a really special program. Unified Sports pairs athletes with and without disabilities for sports including soccer, bowling, and basketball. This winter, Ms. Reed hosted an alumni bowling match with a number of graduates from our alumni program.
I participated. I didn't host. All the credit goes to Jason Casarino and Adrian Wells.
Yeah.
But I went, and gosh, it was fun.
That was fun, yes. Our coaches are Jason Casarino and Adrian Weld. It's a really special program. If you ever have the chance to attend a game, I highly, highly recommend it. It is a feel-good moment of the week. Other teams, we just had a game today, I think, yesterday. Teams come from around the state, and they're fun and competitive, and kids are having a great time. I highly recommend it.
Excuse me, where can you find dates for that?
I'll send them out tomorrow.
Oh, great.
Yep, we've got, I think, there's about 5 games left.
Yeah, there's not many left,
Yeah.
but
Can I just
They
say
are
something
fun.
to piggyback? It is the very best thing, it is the very best thing that we do at the high school. It reaffirms why we do what we do and what's good out there and what Rutland provides. And these kids just enjoy it so much. And we've been doing it since the beginning, and again, it's a credit to these guys because they support it and all of
And your
these.
student athletes participate as well, correct? I think it's a credit to the students as well, that
I think it's a credit to them. I think it's a credit to Jason Kaz, Coach Kaz. You know, there's like 100 Kazes in Rutland, but they all look the same. But yeah, Jason and Adrian Welch do a phenomenal job. And, you know what I mean, it's to the point now, Jason has to drive one of the yellow vans because he drives kids to Chittenden and all these different places because they're
After the game.
after the games because their parents don't come. And if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't be able to do it. But I'm just saying, if you want to get a shot in the arm of why you're doing what you're doing or why we're doing what we're doing, come and watch.
Yep.
And it goes on to, some of our students have went on to Castleton and done unified sports over there, so they're doing it, the higher education as well.
Outstanding program. So, we started something new this year. We, in grades 7 through 12, we, starting in the fall season for the first time, and we repeated it again in the winter season, we will do it again in the spring athletic season. We put out a student survey to all of our students who are participating on athletic teams. And it was a lengthy survey that covered all different kinds of things. And we're just going to go over, we kind of picked out just a couple of points that we want to highlight that Megan and I are going to talk a little bit about. It provides us information on sort of just student overall reaction. How do you like playing on your team? How's the season going? How's the equipment, coaching, facilities, schedule, just basically soliciting input from students. And as we started to take a look at the data, a couple of things. One, we take the data, we make sure that it's anonymous, and we take the team responses. That feedback goes to the coaches of the particular sport. So they're seeing anonymous data on feedback on all of those questions. I think it's good feedback for the teachers. The most of the responses in all of the questions were frankly kind of lopsided to the positive. Generally the responses were pretty positive. Megan and I wanted to include just one area that is going to become an area of focus for us, because these were some of the pie charts that were a little less lopsided. They were a little more multicolored compared to some of the other ones. And this pie chart that you have in front of you there is ask the question, how often did you see parents or fans using inappropriate language? And start with the positive. The good news is about 35% of the students gave some version of never. About 2/3 gave never or almost never. But this was one of the more sort of like varied answers. So like in this one, about 35% of the students said sometimes, a lot of the time, or all of the time. And it's important, in my view, this is student response. This is not like a video camera. This is, what are you students noticing? Students are noticing that parents or fans are sometimes, about 1/3 of them are saying, yeah, they're using inappropriate language. So if you look at the next one, how often did you see parents or fans yelling at a coach, a ref, or another player? Well, previous one was about 35%, this one is about 40%. And then the next one, trying to kind of coach from the sidelines, sometimes, a lot of the time, or all the time, went up to about 48% of the time. So kids are noticing. The student data that we're getting, that we're collecting from students is, hey, I really enjoy playing on the team. I really enjoy this part and that part and the other part. But when you look at all of these questions kind of lined up together, like I said, they sort of stand out because lots of positive, lots of positive, lots of positive. Oh, this is an area that students are not totally positive about. So Megan and I have been talking about, I think this is an area where we as a school need to be having some conversations with parents and fans about sportsmanship, about expectations. One of the things that we talked about was we're going to share this information, and this is combined middle school and high school. So this is 7 through 12. We want to sort of, at the sports meetings at the beginning of the season, say to parents, hey, your kids are watching you. You're watching your kids are watching you. And this is what they're reporting. About a third of them are saying, yeah, sometimes they're swearing, and sometimes they're yelling at me, and sometimes they're yelling at the ref, and sometimes they're not really exhibiting the kind of sportsmanship that I'm expected to exhibit. So with that collection of that survey data, this is going to be an area of focus for us. Putting that out there, trying to highlight the expectations, not just on the field, because I think that's going generally pretty well, but the expectations in terms of behavior and sportsmanship in the stands. And here's some good news. These are the first two questions, and this one is for the high school, and then I'll end with the middle school pie chart. This is what I mean by that kind of lopsided data. You know, the very first question was, overall, I enjoyed playing on my team. Just broadly speaking, what's your overall? 94.5% of the respondents said they either strongly agree or agree. That's a pretty strong response. Like, that's a pretty, almost 95% are saying, yeah, good time. This is great. I'm having a good time. It's either I'm enjoying it, and for the middle school,
Same. Our kids love playing sports. When we can get them out there on the field, it's great. It's what they need to be doing. They thrive when they're out there. So we've got to keep providing the best program we can.
questions?
I'm interested in especially in the first two pie charts, how often do you see parents or fans using inappropriate language? You've got 6.2% saying all the time. You've got 32% some odd saying never. Is that telling us anything about what the student's attitude is toward what should be happening?
Can I answer that? Mm-hmm. Sir, to be honest with you, 95% of our issues are more adult-driven than they are student or student-athlete-driven.
Right, I'm not saying the students are causing it. I'm saying how do you explain that you have 6% saying it happens all the time and 33% saying it never happens?
My inference was, you hear your own parents. There are 30 people yelling on the sidelines. I am listening to what my mom and dad are saying.
Yeah.
I pick that up. Or my good friend's mom and dad. I might be able to tune out the rest, but if I know the voice and it's familiar to me, I zone in on that a little bit more.
Yep. I think students also, because of the type of environment they live in, that's a normal behavior for some kids, at home. That's what they're seeing all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's not something they would necessarily come out and say is happening.
And it's also broken down by team. So maybe at golf this never happens, but at hockey it might a little bit more. So you've got that population.
Cross country, terrible.
You're cross country joking. Yeah. There was a parent when it was off.
I remember.
You were there.
So it's not all them reporting on the same experience. It's different teams and different levels.
I think it depends on the venue, and I also think it depends on what they're seeing on television. And then we have to, I mean, again, I'm on the DEI State Committee, and a big point of emphasis for next fall is going to be through the VPA is people drinking, not the kids, the adults drinking before, during, halftime of the games, and then bringing that behavior, which kind of exacerbates the whole thing. So it's not, we do a pretty good job here, I think, and our kids do an unbelievable job, but it's statewide.
I think it's a national trend, and I think we're not alone, and so we shouldn't beat ourselves up too badly about it. It's been a national trend for a long time, and we're definitely not alone. I mean, it's the cause of why we have official shortages as well. I mean, it's part of the epidemic of that, and so we have a national problem. I'm doing everything I can at the sport management program at Castleton to help alleviate some of that, of course, but I think we need to feel that we're not alone, and there are many tools out there, you know, to help us address this, and it is the number 2 reason why kids are leaving, is because of unfair and high win-at-all-cost mentality from parents. So the number 1 reason is money, but the number 2 reason is related to parent behavior. So, you know, and parent too high of expectations. So I think we need to know we're not alone, but there are tools for us to use. So, yeah.
If you watch the Olympics at all, Norway crushed it, right? They won everything. And they did a piece on what do they do with their youth sports there. They don't keep score, and they just expose kids to everything to 14, 15, 16 years old, and that's when they start to specialize or go in one direction or another. You know, the statistic in our country right now is that 65 to 70% of all athletes, male and female, quit sports, period, by the age of 14. I mean, that's alarming.
We want to buck that trend.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we break up, I just want to publicly thank you, Mike, for your years of service to our community. The scope of your job and your responsibilities is immense, and I can't thank you enough for all the ways you've enriched the lives of our students and our colleagues, so thank you.
Well, a kid from Boston that came here 32 years ago never thought he'd stay here, but because of Rutland and because of you and those that have come before you was the reason why we stayed and raised our family here, and it's home. And Rutland is a special place, and unfortunately too many people like to kick it in the rear end. But what we have here is a really good thing that we all need to be proud of, and thank everybody for the support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What are you going to do in your spare time?
Run up Stratton Road.
Oh, always. That's all he does. Every time I
Better keep doing that. I'll be sad if I don't see you out there.
Every time I
Running is a compliment.
Pam, your
Superintendent's report. I'll try to be briefer than some of the others. As Amelia mentioned, the folks at Stafford Technical Center engaged in Skills USA competition. Skills USA is a workforce development organization for CTE students, career and technical education students across the state. It's designed to empower members to become skilled professionals, career-ready leaders, and responsible community members. At your spot, I left you a special newsletter that was produced by Melissa Connor at Stafford. It lists all of the names of the recipients of gold, silver, and bronze medals. There are 18 of them from Rutland, and I just want to congratulate everyone that participated. It is not easy to step outside your comfort zone and compete.
I would second that. Congratulations, and I think we should give them a round of applause.
Hard to believe we're planning for next year. Well, it's not hard to believe. We've been doing that since probably November. But coming up, parents of incoming kindergarten students can be looking for flyers to register their students, their children for kindergarten. There'll be QRI codes as well as contact information on the flyers. They can call the school, make an appointment, but those will be in May. And then also looking forward to next year, I'm excited to share with you some news regarding a schedule change. We've been making some thoughtful adjustments to our school schedules and to our transportation. These decisions are in direct response to information and data that we have read about student learning, as well as requests and thoughts from parents and staff and our students. And they reflect our commitment to excellence and the well-being of our community. So first, our primary school learning times will be shifted. Our academic hours at Northeast and Northwest will be better aligned with the research that is the best time for young children to learn. As far back as I can remember, I taught at Northwest about 25 years ago, and knowing this research, primary teachers advocated then that we change the schedule so that our youngest learners are in school earlier. So we're going to be also, as part of that, extending the student day so the students actually have more time, instructional time. So that change is also going to support our families. Many families have shared how difficult it is to maintain their work schedules with such a late start time. Currently, our primary schools don't start until 8:45 is drop off. And that's hard for families because there isn't early childhood care. So an earlier start will help to relieve stress for our parents and our caregivers, further demonstrating our shared commitment to partnership and connection. Middle school learning time. Right now, our middle school students are one of the first to arrive in the school building. However, data, research, and our kids tell us that this is not their optimal learning time. So therefore, we are shifting them to a later start, so moving the primaries to where the intermediate middle schools
So
were.
what are the times? Yeah. Do you have, I mean,
I do have them. What I'll do is I'll send you the email. What we needed to, I'm just going to finish this and then I'll
sure.
give you the whole rundown. So therefore, the start and end times for the middle school and intermediate school will be shifting a bit. With regard to transportation, we have listened pretty closely to our community's needs regarding the walk to the high school. So we're going to add some additional bus stops within city limits that will help to make getting to and from school a little bit safer. And I just want to note that this is all rooted in our Portrait of a Graduate and our strategic plan by focusing on wellness and adaptability, as well as really aligning our resources for success. It's been a major undertaking for Glenn Scott and his team. We've had to revise all the busing schedules and routes. Last week on Friday, we were able to inform all of our teachers of the schedule changes, while we were trying to make the final tweaks to make sure that we were ready to tell parents what the beginning and ending times were. So that is, hoping I'm going to be able to send that out tomorrow. But just a reminder to everybody that the actual bus times for routes won't be out until closer to the school year. So in summary, the high school and Stafford schedules are not changing. Our primary schools will welcome children beginning at 7:45 with instruction starting at 8, and dismissal will be at 2:30. The intermediate and middle schools are going to be sharing busing. Students will arrive to school by 8:15 every day, and dismissal is at 3 o'clock. That's a slight change from what they're doing now. As with prior years, again, as I mentioned, the drop-off and pickup times specifically to the bus will be commuted as we get closer. This is very exciting, and it's a big change. We do have a rather extensive communication plan to make sure that our families have the information early and can start planning now for what will happen in about 4.5 months. Questions?
Will Tapestry expand their program to cover the new schedule?
Yeah, Maria's been online since day one. Yeah.
Either through the Superintendent's Association or some other way, do you know whether, especially the members of the legislative education committees, are aware of the research you're talking about? The reason I bring it up is it's not a Rutland issue so much, but we're talking about consolidating districts, which in some cases would make for long bus trips. And I'm wondering whether they have any information about what time you do or don't want the kids to be finally arriving at school.
The legislators specifically, I'm not positive, I'm not sure what the information they've been privy to. I know that we have advocated, the Superintendent's Association and other constituents, about the length of travel time for transportation should large school districts merge and outliers have longer transportation times.
So the information's available, but whether they've paid
Sure,
attention,
yeah.
you can't tell, right?
And even if you've shared it, it doesn't necessarily mean they've absorbed it.
All set? Okay. Next is the board report. This past Saturday, the board met with Jeannie Collins DeWeese to further our knowledge on policy governance. We discussed the roles of the superintendent and the board, the principles of policy governance, and the necessary policy and procedure changes to move us towards policy governance. We have reserved Saturday, May 2nd from 8 to 12 to focus on rewriting our policies. It's our intent to have them ready for first reading by our May board meeting. Okay. Next is unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? Okay, and new business? Any new business to bring to the board? I'd like to bring some new business to the board. As we discussed at our training on Saturday, I'm going to pass out the conflict of interest disclosure form, and I'd like all the board members to go through that and return it to Pam on or before the next our next board meeting. If you do that, that'd be great. Okay. Would you read that?
Yeah, I'll move that the board enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters pursuant to Title I of Vermont statutes, Section 313A1, because premature general public knowledge would clearly place the public body or a person involved at a substantial disadvantage. The executive session shall include Superintendent Pam Reed and Assistant Superintendent Bianca McKean.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Motion carries. Yep, okay, good.